XPW was known for being crazy. It's what it was. It was extreme pro wrestling.
We did death matches. That was the license to kill for me.
I was a porn star living the dream of a wrestler.
If we could degrade people and entertain people, let's do it.
In 1999, porn filmmaker Rob Black combined his passion for violent death matches and the spirit of his provocative adult films to realize his dream promotion, extreme pro wrestling.
XPW was a labor of love for Rob. He wanted it to work.
In order to become America's top hardcore wrestling outfit, XPW celebrated those who performed increasingly dangerous stunts.
But then you want to come out there and put a gun in somebody's mouth and blow the back of their brains out. I outdid you. But that's what it would take.
Rob Black had no appreciation for wrestling because he had no clue about wrestling.
Rob always thought of himself as like a mafia guy. Can't leave. No one leaves the family.
When the violence in the ring bleeds out into real life, Rob Black's command over a legion of young wrestlers begins to crumble as mounting legal bills force his wrestling and porn empires to implode.
I don't remember the pain of it because I was going into shock.
It got real dark after that.
Dumbasses. Like, what were we thinking? Because we weren't.
Rob knew just how to push. He said, how far can I go?
We're known for all this taboo stuff that everyone said you can't do, and we do it.
And he just pushed a little too far.
Tongue my sweaty balls. They're big. They're not hairy. They're smooth, shaved. But they're sweaty.
Are you surprised that Rob doesn't want to be a part of this episode?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's a no-win situation for him. I really do.
It's probably better that he doesn't say anything,
But he's the type of guy where he wouldn't want to be part of somebody else's production and somebody else's project. If you can't hold court and you're just going to sit in a chair and get asked questions, that's just not Rob.
So, for people who don't know, who is Rob Black?
Okay, I'm ready. I'm Jessica Darlin. I was part of XPW for about 2 years.
Look at that!
And I was also Extreme Associates contract girl for almost 4. Rob Black is someone, you love him or you hate him.
I can do whatever I want! I own this fucking company!
He is a wrestling owner, promoter, and he had been in the adult film business his whole life.
Keep your arms back so your tits, because I'm going to go in with the camera.
He was doing stuff like today would be the norm. Gaping buttholes and pissing and puking and really wild sex. He was doing it when no one else did. And that's who we were. We wanted to be the bad boys.
I do what I want because I'm the owner's wife.
Lizzie was an adult film actress, and she came to Extreme, started dating Rob.
What are you doing?
Cut. You don't say nothing.
You said ask you what you're
No. I'm going to ask you what you're doing.
Oh, sorry.
She became his girlfriend, and she was done with the business. She didn't perform. Like, she directed and produced, and she was part of porn, but she was on the other side of it.
Kiss me.
In addition to his penchant for subversive pornography, Rob Black is enamored with the underworld of hardcore wrestling and eventually strikes a working relationship with Extreme Championship Wrestling's revolutionary founder, Paul Heyman.
ECW was a big party.
New Day serenading Angel!
We had fun, we got high, we did drugs, we had a ball. I am New Jack, the original gangster. What Paulie brought to the table was a group of guys that did our thing, and we had a good time doing it.
What I remember about the Rob Black, Paul Heyman relationship was Rob wanted to bring ECW to the West Coast, and there was arrangements to do that. I'm David Marquez. I was the producer and director of the XPW television show.
Welcome to another edition of XPW TV.
But when ECW got their network deal, it was kind of, why do we need Rob? So that all went out the window. Rob was extremely upset about that, and to spite ECW, that's how you get XPW.
Because me and WCW have a common hatred, and that's for that son of a bitch, Paul Heyman, back on the East Coast.
That's what set Rob Black off, where I'm going to make this better than ECW. No, I'm going to do this in spite of you. I'm Joey Chaos, the rock superstar of XPW, and the owner of Santino Brothers Wrestling in Los Angeles, California. I wasn't a huge wrestling fan growing up. I was a huge fan of my Uncle Supreme. He is like a godfather of deathmatch wrestling, and that is his legacy. He's the one that loved professional wrestling. I just tagged along because I love mom. And I remember my Uncle Supreme telling me, hey, so you know that there's this porno wrestling happening. Porno wrestling? Is it going to be wrestling or porn? What is it?
I walked in the office, and I believe Rob just looked at me and said, I now own a wrestling gimmick. You would have girls having sex in the office doing scenes. We also had the ring in the back. So guys going around, they would be wrestling with girls with no clothes on, with them all over them.
It was definitely an eye-opener working in there. My name is Sylvia Munoz. On the wrestling circuit, I'm Jezebel Romo, but at XPW, I was the merch girl or the extreme bitch. It was almost a joy to see people in clothes. That was more of a turn-on than seeing all the tits, ass, dicks, and, you know, then you had, like, one of the porn guys there, and he's sitting there, and he's talking to you, and he's like, hey, so how's your wrestling scene, and how's this, and how's that? And I'm just like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just getting ready for a scene, you know, gotta stay hard. And it was just that casual.
I remember walking in the training. This chick was in the pool eating chicken while the guy was peeing on her, and they're filming it. And I'm like, what is this shit? I guess there was people that wanted to see because it was funding XPW.
I remember leaving my desk, going into the cafeteria, and there being a woman dressed up as the Statue of Liberty and 3 guys with presidential masks on partaking in the filming of a scene on the lunch table. My name is Mike Hartsfield, and I'm a former live event producer for Extreme Pro Wrestling. A lot of us would work our 9-hour day and then stay another 6 or 7 or 8 hours. There were nights I slept in the ring.
In order to get paid for wrestling, I had to edit porn. Not that I was against it. It's just that the subject matter was so offensive at times. Here I am, an Emmy Award-winning news guy, editing fossil.
I think a lot of the extreme girls saw me as like I hate to use this analogy, but like as a new puppy or something like that. And it was awesome. It was awesome. My name is William Welch, and in XPW, my gimmick was the Messiah. The first Battle Royal I ever was part of, Why Trash Johnny Webb gave me the chair shot, and I took it square in the head, didn't put my hands up. I was told that Rob liked the fact that I didn't put my hands up. I mean, it looked like an ECW chair shot. And as he walks by me, he goes, "What's up, Jesus?" Like, I went, what? I was going to be called the Savior or the Messiah. And between the two, I could care less, because I think they both stink. But it's way better than Jesus.
The Messiah has returned.
At the time, I was working at a steakhouse. And I'd show up to work with gig marks on my head from bleeding. And they would send me home. Like, you can't be around customers looking like that.
It looks like something out of a horror movie.
So I was the big dog in XPW, and he held 2 belts at one time, you know?
So now I got my guardian angel, Messiah, man.
Drinking the Kool-Aid that Rob was serving.
Whether it's brainwashing or whatever the case is, and we were brainwashed.
I mean, there wasn't one guy on that roster who didn't bust their ass for that company.
Some of the things I've seen, I don't know why they would do it, but they did it.
In the long run, it was really, really stupid to do a lot of those dumb things that we did. My name is Luke Hawks. In XPW, I went by Altar Boy Luke. I did a 450 off the balcony through a table with thumbtacks with Supreme on it. The thumbtacks had actually broke off into my hand. I had to use pliers to pull the thumbtacks out. It was always, okay, now what can you do next? How can you top it?
We wanted to do this fire spot, so we sent a ring crew guy to get some lighter fluid. And it turns out he got charcoal fluid.
Which is oil-based. Regular lighter fluid, it's alcohol-based, so it burns up quick.
And it starts pulling up on this table, and they put the flame, and it goes out. We know what the image should look like, and it's not happening. It's not, so she keeps doing it. Then we get this good flame, and they go for the spot. Since there was
Chaos pinning Supreme and lifting up, and part of Supreme's skin is on Chaos, and it was pretty traumatic.
I went straight to the hospital. I mean, I remember going upstairs to go see my Uncle Supreme, all wrapped up. And I heard him saying, "Damn, that was a good match. That spot it up." Like, that was like his response.
The roster's willingness to sacrifice themselves on a nightly basis, along with tantalizing appearances of crossover porn stars, made XPW an instant hit with local fans. In response, ECW stages their first ever live show in Los Angeles.
Heatwave 2000!
Rob Black always had this I'm a mafio mentality. So in his mind, ECW is coming into our territory.
Because you're in our backyard. Why? Why, Paul Heyman?
They're coming to like kind of shut us up.
In retaliation, Rob Black orders his ring crew to distribute XPW flyers at the event and has his top talents at ringside to attempt a disrupting presence.
Rob Black, he can get you to go to war for him. 100%. He had that ability to get you to say, dude, we're gonna die for you. We'll die right here on Heatwave for you, brother. Like, let's do it. Die for the cause.
Sitting in the front row, and then the main event comes on.
So I turn to the hard cam, and I throw the X symbol, like, this is it. With their gorilla paws. And we're getting thrown out of this building. They close the doors, and it's quiet. There's all this ruckus, and it's just quiet. And we're like, where is everybody?
Meanwhile, on the other side of the arena, the XPW ring crew is not so lucky.
And we beat the out of them. I had just had surgery on my leg, so I hit somebody in the face with a crush. The guy came up, he was like, "New Jack, we don't want no trouble." I was like, "Rob."
You don't go after Supreme, you don't go after Messiah, you don't go after Kick-Ass, you go after a couple of the 140-pound ring crew guys. That's what you do, because your company and you are a piece of shit. And us and XPW are gonna flush you, the piece of shit, right down the toilet.
I straight up told Joey, him this was stupid. And in the back of my mind, I'm also thinking, Rob Black was supposed to be here. Where is he?
In April 2001, financial ruin forces ECW to fold, allowing rival promoter Rob Black to welcome their top talent into XPW's growing empire of Extreme.
Everything that Rob Black said, like, happened. You know, to be honest with you, to his credit, like, I'm gonna bring in Sabu, I'm gonna bring in Shane Douglas, and we're like, yeah, right. And then he'd bring this guy in, and we're like, Jesus, this is real.
Wait, for f***'s sake, we got Terry Funk. I mean, we were big.
Terry Funk's got that.
We made it.
Do you remember how he explained his vision for what XPW was going to be?
It was going to be ECW on steroids. That's what he said.
Wait a minute.
I laughed at it. I said, let's do it. I'm saying, after I left ECW, Rob Black called me up. Then I go out there and I find out it's a half a porn company.
Sabu is here in XPW, ladies and gentlemen. It's Sabu.
You know, and then you got like Candido, Cronus, New Jack.
What you consider a wrestling ring, I consider a killing field.
And a few other guys. So it started to look like a reject ECW.
Did Paulie or any of your other ECW guys give you shit for doing this XPW stuff?
What they gonna say to me? I ain't gonna about Paulie. Oh, no about it. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna about the motherfucker. I was got to making money. I got to eat. And get some porn.
Well, what we have here is our warehouse, which houses all of our dirty, filthy pornography.
He was like, Jack, get whatever you want. I was driving the forklift around, going up to get my porn, and I was shit I swear to God, I had over 1,000 DVDs.
In competitor, Rob continues to escalate the violence in XPW to disturbing new extremes.
There was a show where I was wrestling Supreme and Angel.
Down goes Supreme!
And I put my hand up in the chair, smacks me, and it looks brutal, like he kills me with the chair. As soon as we get to the back dressing room, Rob Black's in the back, and he's going, "This is XPW! We don't put our hands up! We don't do it!" And like he's like yelling at me, and I'm going, "Wait, did I do something wrong?" Because I was always taught, you know, to put my hand up for a chair shot, don't stick your neck out. So Jerry Lynn pulls me aside, he goes, Don't listen to a thing he says. He has no clue what he's talking about. You did it right. You protected yourself. It looked great. What I didn't know was behind the scenes that Rob, the next show, was going to have me handcuffed and crucified, basically chained up like this with my arms out. And he told Supreme that as payback, he had to hit me several times across the head unprotected with a chair. And I had no idea it was coming. And next thing you know, one shot turns to two shots turn to three. Oh my goodness! Probably cracking my skull. I didn't go to the doctor because I didn't have health insurance, but I have a really big indentation from those chairs in my skull. So I remember they were like, you're very bad concussed, you can't go to sleep, but you gotta sit up, and sitting in a hotel room after, just miserable. My head's pounding, I'm throwing up, I kinda have no idea where I'm at. I'm wondering if I'm gonna die. And this is all because of some goddamn idiot who knows nothing about wrestling thinks I needed to pay for putting my hand up on a chair shot.
With mounting injuries and a waning interest in performing for bloodthirsty crowds, the Messiah is forced to reconsider his future in the company.
I just went to Rob, I had the belts with me, and I went, dude, I'm done. Like, I'm done, my body's beat up. He just looked at me, and he went, okay, if you're done, I'm done. I'm like, wait, what? He goes, if you don't want to do this anymore, I don't want to do this anymore. It's that simple. I'm finished. And I know he would never have stopped doing XPW because I left. I know that never would have happened. Honestly, I got played. That's what happened. I remember talking to Lizzie about it, and Lizzie essentially said, that's what he does. Lizzie said he's done that to me, too. Even when it came to, like, Lizzie Borden and I, Lizzie said, Rob wants me to flirt with guys. It's like, why? I don't know, he just likes it. You know, I think Rob liked having the hot girlfriend. And
I think you look really cute. Keep your top on, though. I'm trying, hon.
You can't have her, but, you know, it's she's flirting with you, but it doesn't mean she wants you.
It's good.
And Rob, you know, Rob was getting, like, you know, BJs, like, every other day. The other one.
I know she would get jealous of some of the girls that, you know, were rumored to have been with Rob.
Whenever they had an argument, she would just show up at my house. And I think I got caught in the crosshairs of something that was going on between Lizzie and Rob. And I was used as like a chess piece.
How beautiful you are.
Rob, I have to go flip my hair. Don't. Please don't.
Let's see your boobies.
You want what? You want me to do a porno?
Spooky.
I'm gonna do a movie.
Maybe not.
I wanna do a movie.
Oh, really? So,
Who can I do it with?
no one.
This is a V6 that's got more horsepower than many V8s, which means...
So why would you...
I think when it came to me, things got taken too far. They just got taken too far.
That was the story I remember hearing, that the Messiah and Lizzie Borden had something going on.
And then I remember Supreme would always just like, no way, he wouldn't mess this up like this. We all love this wrestling thing. We're all trying to make a go at it.
So what happened?
Yeah. Unfortunately, Lizzie and I ended up hooking up. You know, and I knew it was bad news as soon as it happened.
Left and Rod didn't care who this girl, you know, but he said, as long as it's on film, he don't care. It's just behind his back he cares, and I don't blame him. So he wanted to kill him.
When wrestler The Messiah fails to show for an XPW event, rumors of his affair with Lizzie Borden begin to circulate.
There was a house show we were going to do in our warehouse. And from what I understand, Sabu showed up and the Messiah didn't.
I didn't tell Supreme or Chaos or any of those guys what was going on. Those would have been the guys I would have told.
How did it come out?
It just come out. Rob found out.
And they go, hey, it comes out like, hey, yeah, he was the boss's wife. And our jaw dropped like, really? Why would he mess up this XPW thing, man? Like, why would he do that? Like, he fucked up.
I slept with Billy, too. They got around all of them.
Rob Black and Lizzie Borden's relationship survives the affair, but the Messiah is promptly exiled from XPW.
And so the Messiah was written out of the company through a bizarre storyline that happened with an apparition out in the warehouse.
Messiah, you can't go. I need you tonight. Everything is on the line. What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
I had a conversation with Rob where he basically just threatened me on the phone and essentially like gave me a countdown. 3 days. You got 3 days to live. You know, this is what I'm going to do for you, Billy. I'm going to buy you a plane ticket to Michigan and you get out of California. I'm not running. That's the exact words I told him. I'm not running.
With the loss of one of XPW's biggest attractions, Rob Black looks to stage his most ambitious spectacle yet, with a high-stakes match between New Jack and Vic Grimes. Unbeknownst to Grimes, New Jack aims to retaliate against him for a fractured skull he suffered in a previous match 2 years earlier.
See here, I can get away with murder. Murder. I mean, real murder. And that's what I'm getting ready to do.
Whose idea was it to do that scaffold match?
Rob Black. He told me, he said, Jack, we're going to do a scaffold match. The loser gets thrown off. I'm going to flip a coin. I said, Rob, you flip a coin all day long. Vic is getting thrown off the scaffold. I said, I'm not taking that bump. Big hit.
All right. Listen to me. Changing the stipulations a little bit, all right? We need to spice this shit up.
The freefall event was a colossal undertaking, to say the least. Everyone was under the assumption this scaffolding was going to be used for cameramen, including the building. If I had gone about the insurance the normal way a lot of companies do, it probably would have been pretty difficult. So to bypass a lot of that, I would just make up the insurance waivers on my computer. I remember finding an old insurance certificate that they had used prior, and I scanned it and I whited out some certain things, and then I just typed up who needed coverage. I faxed them this certificate that I made, and I got a call saying, just got the insurance, we're good to go on the show.
So wait a minute, there wasn't actually insurance for the event?
Yeah.
Look at this, Grimes! Grimes is starting! And yes, they're both going up!
You know, and that damn thing looked rickety. It's not meant to have two big guys up there bumping and fighting. I remember seeing the thing and it's kind of shifting back and forth, and I'm just like, holy shit.
And the crowd would, and I could see the scaffolding swaying.
What the hell is gonna happen?
And just watching everything going on, just crossing my fingers.
Please, God, please, mercy on their souls.
And I hear the crowd gasping, and I look up and New Jack's got a stun gun.
Oh, Jesus, look at this.
I could not believe it. And I was just like, it's gonna be over soon. It's gonna be over soon.
No, please, no.
I'll never forget just like the look on Vic's face when he was just coming down and
his legs hit the ring ropes and flipped him back into the ring. If it had hit his butt, he would have slid out onto the concrete.
His bitch ass hit the goddamn floor and splattered like a egg.
That was a little dangerous and a little like there is a God, and he just saved his ass.
Big Grimes is gonna need medical attention, please. Let's clear the building.
What was the reaction from Rob Black?
Oh, he was like, Jack, that was great. I loved it. That was great. Thank you. Here's the bonus. So he paid me. So I did last show, which was with Big Grimes. Once I got him, I felt like mission accomplished. I was done. So I left.
With New Jack's departure, Rob Black loses another big star. To make matters worse, the Messiah publicly admits to his affair with Lizzie Borden, boasting about it at a show in Southern California.
I was told by people at the Extreme Associates office that Rob was keeping tabs on me, that he knew and was aware of everything I was doing. I then started getting very resentful. I know in Rob's mind, you weren't supposed to hear about me ever again. In my mind, I'm stuffing it down Rob's throat. And I was happy to do it. The whole entire place started chanting, "You effed Lizzie." Me being in my 23-year-old frame of mind, I yelled, wasn't the most smartest thing I've ever done. Because up to that point, I'd always just denied it.
But I remember saying, like, man, Billy, like, hey, just let it go, bro. Like, let it go. Like he fired you, you the boss's wife, like, you guys are even. Just let it go.
If you're gonna tell me I can't do something, you're gonna threaten me. I'm gonna prove to you that I can do it. I'm gonna show you that I'm not scared of you.
With the Messiah's outspoken bravado and XPW's diminishing attendance, Rob Black's frustration intensifies.
XPW had put on a show. I purposely sit up in the nosebleed section. The match wasn't very good. The crowd started throwing like around a beach ball and chanting beach ball. You know, the beach ball would get snatched. You know, the crowd would go, oh! The crowd was not being receptive. I guess Rob found out I was there. And I was told he threw a temper tantrum backstage. My phone rings inside of my teeth. Hey, you need to leave. Yelling at all of us because you're here. Hung up the phone and we left. I mean, we left. That was it. Just got home from work. I just bought a Nintendo GameCube, so I was going to play some video games. The front door opens, and these two guys walk in. I immediately assumed they were with my roommate, so I didn't think anything of it. I even said, hey, what's up? I can see the reflection off the TV of the two guys. I see the one guy lock the door, and then I see both of them going, you get him, no, you get him. And I turn like this to then confront them, and then boom, they just jumped on me. One of them got me in a chokehold, but I knew he didn't have it in right. I get choked out all the time, and I knew what a chokehold felt like. One of them got my hand down, and the other one had clippers. And got it around my thumb, and then snapped it, and the thumb popped right off. Then they went to my other hand, and I kept it in a fist. So they couldn't get it. They started pounding on my hand to open up my fist. And I wouldn't do it. We had a little fish tank and busted it over my head. They were trying, I think, to knock me out. I was able to get to the door without having my thumb. It was like I was waving at the lock. So they got me, pulled me back in. They just got on top of me, like, you know, punching me in the face or punching me anywhere. By this point, both of them are gassed out and tired. One of them threw a punch at me. I got him in an arm bar and just wrenched on him, and he screamed. When he screamed, I let go, made it to the door, was able to unlock the door at that point, and the door just flew open, and they both ran out. Got a cup of ice, and then began to try to search for my thumb, but it was hard to find anything, and I couldn't locate it, and then I think I just passed out.
While the Messiah was fighting off home invaders, his XPW colleagues were unaware his life was in serious danger.
On this particular night, GQ Money and I, we're gonna film a segment for XPW TV, and then all of a sudden there's a knock. Rob Black doing here? Like, Rob Black has never been here. Like, why is he here? And he was not the Rob Black that we need. He kind of just sat on the couch. So I was like, why are you here? Why are you here? I had no clue. I woke up the next morning. Billy's had two black guys came into his house, and there was a fight.
This day, I don't know if they were after to kill him and what they were after to do. But a lot of us were just in shock and awe, and you know, it's like, and then the rumors started flying, the speculation.
I remember how I first saw it. It was on America's Most Wanted. And I remember I was sitting with my husband and I go, holy shit, that's Messiah. Oh my God, they cut off his thumbs. What's going on? What's going on?
But who would want the Messiah hurt for real? To answer that, cops have been delving into the secretive and sometimes sleazy subculture of indie wrestling.
And I remember looking at my husband and going, we all know who did this. We all know who's behind it, but we can't do nothing. And I can't prove it.
What's going on? What's happening? Is that true? Rob Black has something to do with it? No, come on.
And I actually asked Rob about it one day.
Message Sunday, 1:09 a.m.
Hey, New Jack, I heard what happened to Messiah, right? And, don't pretend like y'all, the whole going on.
I don't let this do that. And he was like, no, Jack, I had nothing to do with that.
There's speculation. I don't know who did it. I know that Billy said it was two black guys, that physically did it. After this had happened, I remember Rob Black saying, watch out who you hang out with. You might get your arm chopped off. What did that mean? Be careful who you hanging out with. You know what I mean? Because he was pissed that we were still friends with Messiah. Oh yeah, 100%. He was pissed that we weren't like that guy. You know what I mean?
I actually ended up leaving, I would say, within a couple weeks to a month after that. It wasn't fun when people were going, one thumb up, or trying to shake your hand and going like that instead of the normal, and laughing about it. There's no proof, and this is just one girl talking. We all think Rob had something to do with it.
The biggest thing I can do, in my opinion, was to go back doing what I loved, which was wrestling. And that's what I did.
And everybody in this arena, get a good look, because this is no work. I have no thumb, and I don't give a shit, because I can still open beer, still play video games, and still run a telegram to anyone I want to.
With no evidence linking Rob Black to the assault on the Messiah, he is never charged. However, he and Lizzie begin to draw the attention of federal authorities for posturing in the media about pushing legal
to have sex, being butchered at the end, and spit on. She's being degraded.
We're known for all the taboo stuff that everyone said you can't do, and we do it, and we sell it, and people are entertained because people are bored with the other stuff.
They were doing such extreme stuff, and I wasn't into it, and it wasn't where I wanted to go. And so I finally just said, hey, Rob, this is, this is where it ends.
I watch Nightline all the time.
This is Nightline.
And just on random day, Rob's a guest of Ted Koppel. He was trying to justify the lewd acts that were in these videos against freedom of speech. And John Ashcroft, the Attorney General of the United States at that point, was coming after him.
We're not drug dealers or murderers, we make movies.
Rob always wanted to be like Hugh Hefner or Larry Flint.
Make movies, just like Hollywood makes movies, just like
they're not just like Hollywood makes movies. In your movies, women are brutally raped. They're actually beat up.
I'm fighting for your First Amendment rights. And he wasn't. He was fighting for himself.
Zakari, quote, issued a challenge to Attorney General Ashcroft and said that Ashcroft, quote, could not do anything about his films.
And I'm at home, and I'm like, you're challenging John Ashcroft? You're challenging the United States government? Like, why would you do that? Why would anyone do that?
There was a time when there was a meeting in Rob's office. Rob stood up from his desk and said, hey, when we get raided by the feds, everyone report to Kevin. That's who's going to get information. That's who you need to speak to. When we get raided by the feds, it wasn't if, it was when.
I remember the morning of the postal raid at Extreme Associates. We figured out what was going on because everyone was wearing United States Postal Service, kind of like the CIA or FBI jackets you see in movies and television. And we put two and two together and figured out that the government somehow, some way, figured out how to get robbed. How can you go on network television and challenge the government? Like, who does that? And he did. And he got popped for it.
They had to go after me first because I had the biggest mouth. You can't start a war on pornography unless you go after the person that is defying you the most. Right here is the Federal 5. These are the 5 tapes that could put me in jail forever.
I was really interested on where it was going to go because I thought that's a brilliant question. Like, who in government is going to decide what's decent or indecent between two paid actors?
But I mean, it was like Rob knew what but he didn't care.
The funny thing about my business is I don't force it on anybody. The only people that are going to be forced to watch my movies are the 12 people that sit in that jury.
Facing multiple charges for violating federal obscenity statutes, Rob Black and Lizzie Borden face 50 years in prison and millions in fines. The legal battle quickly consumes all of Rob Black's resources, spelling the end of XPW.
There were times when there would just be a month of talent check bouncing, and there would be 20 people in the lobby pissed off. And literally everyone with a check in their hand.
XPW will be starting in just a few minutes, so please grab your seats and get ready to get extreme!
It killed the whole business because all the lawyer fees, and you can't produce movies, you can't pay wrestlers, you can't pay actors, can't pay actresses.
I think he ultimately thought that the adult industry would, come to his support. And they saw through his BS. He should have known it then, but he definitely knows it now. Dude, the government, they got more money, they got more lawyers, and they got more time.
These charges were getting dropped and dropped and dropped, and one finally stuck.
Unable to mount a costly defense, Rob and Lizzie opt to plead guilty to a single charge of conspiracy to distribute obscene materials.
I believe he got a year and a day, if I'm not mistaken.
I remember when I heard that Rob and Lizzie were thrown in jail, I kind of feel bad for Lizzie, because it's like, she wasn't the most innocent, sweet thing in the world either, but I think she went down just because her name was on the title.
I thought he got what he deserved, not because of what happened to me, but to go on TV and ask the government, come at me, do it. Just the ego, the absolute ego.
After serving his time, Rob Black leaves the world of wrestling behind, and his relationship with Lizzie would also come to an end.
I've asked myself over the years, it's been almost 20 years, and I've asked myself, if I could do it again, would I? Yeah.
Yes. Every part of it, even the bad times I would. Yes. Of course I'd go back.
Because we had something incredibly special there. I mean, it wasn't just the wrestlers, and it wasn't just Rob Black. It was a combination of everything that made the magic. Everybody wanted the show to succeed.
Now I'm in Hollywood. Now I'm living my dream, and I have the greatest job in the world, and that might not have happened if I wasn't in XPW.
That time is incredibly important to me. All of the situations that, involved in the friendships that are still happening to this day.
Me and Sylvia, we actually got married at a pro wrestling show.
We're actually celebrating our 9th.
So my uncle, Supreme, the people just really loved him. Unfortunately, he passed away last May 6th. There's just a lot of love, when he passed away, just a lot of love, that people just messaging and just talking about him, and I know it really touched me, but I just so wish, I just so wish that people would have let him know when he was alive, because he loved that shit. Who doesn't? But man, without Supreme, I'd have never been a wrestler whatsoever. I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd be driving a truck, I guess. I don't know.
It's racing now with his Uncle Supreme!
I would not change one thing from the simple fact of all of that led me to my wife, and now I have my 2 daughters. So it was all worth it in my eyes. Because at the end of the day, Messiah means nothing. Once I walk through that door at home, I'm just dad and husband, and that's the most important thing to me.
What we're doing right now, we'll put XPW back on the map for a few months. But it ain't nothing that they did that be like, oh, that'll go down in history. Besides me throwing big rounds over the scale.
As far as I know, Rob is happily married. He has a couple kids, and I think he's running a hamburger shop back east somewhere. I'm not quite sure where, but I always wonder, would he want, if he could come back, would he? And I don't know. I have no idea who the Rob Black is nowadays, or who Robert Zakari is nowadays, because I wonder, is he still Rob Black?
And action.
Honey, why are you so worked up? Everything's gonna be okay.
They turned their backs on me. I'm playing with dolls. I'm done with all that. It's gonna be a new me. People are gonna regret what they did to me.
What are you talking about?
You'll see. You'll see. I gotta get something to drink. I'm dying over here.
Turn their backs on him.
Cut.